Hey everyone, welcome back. It is time for another wrestling review. With me once again, we have the man who reviews movies, TV shows, and wrestling, who will also be joining me at Forbidden Door this June when it comes to Toronto at the Scotia Arena. We have Campo.Reviews. His stuff will be down in the description below. Make sure you give him a follow. Make sure you give RLG Cast a follow. We've had some pretty banger episodes of RLG Cast the last few weeks. The
last one
not
was freaking
not to
good.
toot our own horn, but they've been pretty good. But
it's really easy when it's a show about nothing.
it really is. It's the Seinfeld of YouTube right now.
Yeah, I'll take it. not upset about that.
Right? It's a good reference to it's a good company to be with.
Yeah.
But we are not talking about Seinfeld or any like that. We are talking about Impact Wrestling. They had their third offering of the year. They had Sacrifice, which wasn't really a pay-per-view. It was like one of those TV events.
But it's still considered a premium event because this is the 14th time they did it.
They did it, yes. And did you watch any of the pre-show?
Well, there was only one match, wasn't there?
Two.
Okay, yeah, I saw them.
Eddie Edwards versus Bhupinder Gujar.
Yeah, so let's start there. Okay, we'll just start there. I actually really like Bhupinder. I think has a lot of talent. I'm really sick and tired of Eddie Edwards. It's the same match every single time, and the character's not entertaining anymore. And I just don't get it. And then to have him,
this could have been a match you could have put Bhupinder over.
Yeah, exactly. To not only put him over in his hometown, he's actually from Windsor. But it helps him climb the ladder. And instead, you had him lose in convincing fashion. It wasn't like an accidental loss.
It was a full-on loss.
Yeah, and I think, like, come on, man. Like, just Eddie Edwards. There's like three people that I'm tired of. Macklin, Eddie Edwards,
and Moose.
Like, and they're all constantly pushed. Like,
well, Moose had very little presence on the show, and thank God for that.
Thank God. When they kick him off.
Yes.
And I was like,
thank you, Santino.
I don't have to have him.
Yes. Next we have Rosemary versus Kylan King. I forgot that Kylan King and Taylor Wilde won the tag belts.
As did I. I really, really, really hate that
Jungle
Impact. Juice? I do hate Jungle Juice, but I really hate that Impact is going back to kind of their TNA ways, in the sense that they're really pushing this dark arts thing that's happening. Like, it's real
because
Taya Valkyrie disappeared
through some dark mystic
AEW guy.
Yeah.
Don't you guys have a working contract together? I'm pretty sure she'll be back.
Contrary to that, I did write this down. Matt Raywald and Tom Hannigan, or whatever his name is, Tom Haffinen, or whatever his name is. Yeah. They are slowly becoming one of my favorite announce teams.
Oh, yeah.
They are fantastic together.
Zap Brannigan, yeah, they're pretty good. I agree. Especially the bald guy.
Matt Raywald, yeah.
Yeah, Matt Raywald. He's really good. And but yeah, so this is our first look at Rosemary since she's come back from injury.
Yes.
She looked good. She wrestled somewhere. Yeah, she was pretty solid in the ring. The crowd was really behind her.
Again, hometown girl. She's from Winnipeg or Thunder Bay or whatever, but still Canadian.
Yeah, and good match.
Yeah, it was.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. But
Kylan King is not that bad either.
Kylan King is pretty good.
We just haven't seen her fight the right opponents, I think, those few times.
Her NWA run was really well handled. But the problem was she didn't fight anybody of large enough stature. And then
when she fought
AEW run,
Camille,
she was just a jobber to whoever was fighting that night on Dark and stuff.
I think she jobbed out to what's her name? Cargill at once too.
She jobbed out to a bunch of people. Her whole thing was I'm coming in for Dark and Dark Elevation to lose to somebody who's getting a push.
Yeah. But at least
NWA
now it's
handled it pretty well, and Impact is now. I'm glad she signed with Impact.
And like we keep saying, Impact keeps bolstering that women's roster to be. It's
every time they lose someone, they immediately replace them.
Like they lost Taya Valkyrie, but I don't mind now because you replaced her with Kylan King, which is okay, maybe not on the same level, but this is someone you can groom and has the potential.
and she's younger than Taya. I mean, the whole Taya thing that's happening is fantastic.
Yeah,
I think
good on her. I
this
actually
is the
think
time to
Taya's going
beat
to
Jade
beat Jade.
Cargill. Yeah,
Yeah,
this is the time.
because
Especially if
there's
you
no
do it in
way Taya
Canada.
would have gone to AEW if she was gonna just job out to Jade within the first few
Build this
weeks.
freaking storyline, have Jade win at Double or Nothing, and then have it go to Forbidden Door in Toronto and let Taya win in Canada.
Yeah, the crowd will go nuts if Taya wins it.
And you know what you do? You fill up those whole empty gaps of those months. Every single dark or elevation, every week you have Jade keep winning, so that when she does lose, her number is huge now. It's like 100, and then have her lose,
and it seems more credible.
Or make her lose on like match 99. Anyways,
yeah. So that's the end of the pre-show. With that, we get the little splash graphic, and the show starts. That's where I wrote down that Matt and Tom, like, they have become one of my favorite commentary teams right now. Then we find out that Josh Alexander had to relinquish the championship with a torn tricep. He may be out for 6 to 9 months. Same injury. I think it's the same injury as Cody.
No, Cody's was his pec.
His pec. Okay.
But it's okay. This is good. One, because we get to see something new, which I was fine with Josh Alexander, but I'm okay with seeing something new. And two, because he doesn't
lose
interim champions, and I don't want someone holding the belt so nobody can have it.
No, he said, I'm going to vacate the belt. Yeah, I'm going to vacate the belt, but when I come back, I'm going to want it back.
Yeah, and he's going to get it back, I promise you. But this opens the door for a potentially huge run
with Kushida.
One of these guys win, because
hopefully it's Kushida.
If Macklin wins, I'm not watching Impact anymore. I'm just going to be honest. He's so shit. And I don't want to
as it shows in this match tonight.
Yeah, and he was the lowest tier of all the wrestlers involved in this.
Yeah, when you have legends in the ring like Kazarian and the Motor City Machine Guns and Kushida, like
even Rich Swann has been around forever.
Yeah.
But it's just it makes no sense to me, and we digress. So what match are we on? I forgot.
We're the opening match of the show proper. It's Speedball Mike Bailey against Jonathan Gresham.
A really good match.
The rematch.
Wear shoes. I don't understand.
No octopus entrance.
Yes, I found that strange. And for all the beef that they have had since the first match, and that's going on, and even in this match, the match starts off with them like hating each other, but then they shake hands.
Yeah.
And I was like,
but you see like little heelish things that Gresham was doing. He's like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that, when clearly, obviously, he did mean to do that.
And then later they come out together to help somebody, which that was even more strange to me.
That didn't make any sense.
I don't get where you can't have them fight each other again.
But even though the series, but the thing is now, Gresham, Bailey goes over, and now it's 1-1 because
I know, and that's the thing too, right? And it ended really well.
Yeah.
It ended with like a turnover of a figure four.
Yeah, which I've never seen before.
And he tapped out right away. There was a lot of
technical
Zack Sabering happening.
Yes, a lot of technical moves, reversals,
slide into lock, slide out of lock, reverse, turnover, where you don't see that often. Even when you watch guys that claim to be really good technical wrestlers like Daniel Bryan.
Sometimes it's not as fluid as like a Zack.
Bryan Danielson?
Bryan Danielson.
Shit.
That's okay.
He doesn't have that fluidity at all. Yes, he has a lot of moves that he puts on the floor, but he doesn't flow with them. Like Zack Sabre Jr. literally like slithers into like new moves while he's already has you in a move.
Yeah.
But this was a pretty good match. I was very surprised.
Yeah. They fixed the squeaky ring issue from the last event.
Thank God for that too.
No audio issues
Gresham
either.
Is a monster.
Yeah.
Like his like I forget his traps are so big.
Yeah.
Like so absolutely monstrous. Like I don't know how he functions in his day-to-day life.
Yeah. But yeah, he's something special, and like I said, I think this feud will continue.
I don't, with the way they're telling the story, I don't think it should. But I understand what you're saying. There has to be a third match.
Yeah, the third. With that, next we go into the Digital Media Championship match. Brian Myers getting his rematch against Joe Henry. I don't understand Joe Henry.
Okay, before we even talk about this, can I say something that you might not like? This match was a 0 out of 10. This match was so bad, like
really
so bad. I was not interested in the story. What's the other guy's name?
Brian Myers.
Brian Myers was not very good. Um, Joe Hendry hasn't grown. He's just the same match again. This is another person I'm complaining about with this. It's always the same thing every single time.
But that's the thing. Like, I don't understand which side of the fence Joe Henry is on.
I don't get it either. He's a good talker. His thing at the beginning was funny. I was like, okay, I get it. And but it's like he hates the fans, but the fans like him, and I don't understand.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Absolutely. I don't like, I mean, I'm not saying it was a great match, but I thought it was like an okay match.
The match itself was nothing special. There was no story told.
We got Darren McCarty.
It's two wrestlers I don't care about at all.
Yeah, for a belt that doesn't mean anything.
And it's like there was, to me, it was just a waste of time. And the match wasn't very short.
Let's at least before this match started, let's preface it by saying, like, before the match started, Gia Miller was interviewing Brian Myers, and Moose came out and he says, "Don't worry, I'll be at ringside. I make sure you win." And Santino's like, "Nope, you're going nowhere near the ring. You're banned from the ringside." So at least we just got 10 seconds of Moose, and that's it.
Yeah, which is good because I don't need any more Moose.
This match would have been so much worse if Moose were at ringside.
Yeah, I know, and they would have cheated. Joe Hendry needs to be put into a feud with somebody good. Because all of his matches so far that we've seen is always a new random person every time.
Why don't they do a Joe Henry versus a Rich Swann feud?
Yeah, okay, that's
or
good.
Joe Henry versus Kazarian.
I would like to see him fight Speedball Mike Bailey.
Yeah.
I would like to see Jonathan Gresham fight him. I just give me something that's not this.
And someone who's credible.
Yeah, you're not helping him by making him fight Moose twice, making him fight this guy for the second time. And then the other match that we watched was like, I don't even remember who he fought, but it wasn't a very good match either.
Yeah.
The funny part was, that's why I prefaced it before I gave you my score for this, because I know you have this weird thing where you like Joe Henry. It's just like,
I just believe in Joe Henry.
Yeah, I mean, he believes in himself too.
But I mean, I'm not like, as a wrestler, as an in-ring performer, he has the talent and he has the ability. You're right though, but I don't understand what side of is he a heel? Is he a face? Is he like?
But that to me that takes away from the match, because
that's exactly it. Like, give me face Joe Henry, you put in a heel Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham destroys him. Now you have another way you can complete that Mike Bailey, Jonathan Gresham feud. You have the rematch with Joe Henry. Like, it's like, you can tell that story was, now that I lost the title, I don't believe in myself anymore. You know what I mean? And tell that story of redemption kind of thing.
Yeah, and I would do that. Just coming off the 3 matches we watched, not that any of them were like god tier matches, but
they were decent.
Those 3, and then watching this was like you have all this momentum, and then you just took it away from me.
Yeah, and I think that happens again later in the show to me too.
Yeah, but this is more of my like, I'm not really a 0 out of 10. That's just me exaggerating. But this match did definitely take away big time. Like, and it was not an interesting match at all. It's just like, oh, we have to put the title on the line because it's a premium
digital event. Yeah. We don't have enough belts, so we have to like put more belts on the line. I can agree with that, and I can understand that. So with that, we go into our next. Before we go into our next match, we get an interview with Mickie James, where Mickie James says she's not going to be defending the belt at Multiverse anymore.
So tonight, it was supposed to fight Jordynne Grace.
Yep, and at Multiverse, she was supposed to face Monet.
Yeah, which is double not happening.
Mm-hmm.
And now we'll be replaced by, there will be a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wins,
I think it's a 4-way. It's a 4-way match.
Okay, it's a 4-way match, and whoever wins will face Jordynne Grace.
Yeah. I think it's going to be, who is it?
It's got to be Masha.
Yes, but there was the match between Perezo and Thing, and whoever won that match is the fourth person entered into that match as well.
So who would it be? Killer Kelly? I don't even know who's in it. Masha has to be one of them.
And Masha's one of them.
Well, you look it up because I
have it already open here, so don't worry about that. It's Giselle Shaw, Masha Slimovic, Miyu Yamashita, and whoever won the Deonna Purrazzo versus what's her name match today.
Deonna
Purrazzo and Giselle Shaw are both in it.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Now, but the way they set it up, though, what they were saying was, the way they said it was kind of strange because Mickie said she's hoping to be,
and if she's there, it'll be a 3-way match for the title. Either way, she needs to lose the title. So I'm going to tell you this.
But if it's a 3-way match that works out well, Slimovic finally pins Jordan Grace, so Mickie doesn't have to lose.
When is Rebellion?
It is April 16th here.
Okay. So I personally think that this is my issue with the situation. So the Josh Alexander thing, I understand, is a much longer time that he's out. But
Mickie has a broken rib.
This to me comes off selfish and was like, we're going to take the title from you and we're going to set up this thing. And she was like, no, you're not. Like, that's how this interview felt to me. No way did she seem like she was being like, I would love to do this. It was like her holding on to it for dear life. Like, no, there's no way that I'm giving up. You know what I mean? And it's like,
she wants to pad her stats.
You came in, you undeservedly won the title. You undeservedly defended it again in matches that you should have lost. And not that they were bad matches or that she's bad, but it was like, it's the Monet situation.
It's time to put somebody fresher over. I don't want to say younger.
Should have been the title holder already.
7-star Masha should be.
Like, it's crazy to me. This lady has 6 belts, including the men's heavyweight title and from GCW. So, and that's not like a rinky-dink promotion. That's like the highest that indies get is GCW.
I think they're one step right below MLW.
Yeah, MLW to me is like a real show. GCW is like a top of the line indie. It's like the highest indie that you can get. But
I think Masha will be going over at Rebellion. She's going to pin Jordan Grace.
You freaking have to.
She's lost too many times, and she's always in the pick. Like
and that's another one I want to add to this before we go too far. Their use of Killer Kelly is just insane to me. It's so insane. She's so good.
She should be in that.
Not Giselle. This Giselle thing is so biased because she's married to Scott D'Amore.
That makes sense now.
And she's not even bad. Don't get me wrong.
No, Giselle Shaw is not a bad wrestler.
But it's like, why are you in the title picture? You came out of literally nowhere and have put yourself into a feud with the best wrestler on the roster in the females division. Yeah. And now all of a sudden you're fighting for the title?
Is she? No, she's not married to D'Amore.
I swear she is.
No, but she is trans though.
Okay, anyways, we're continue this.
Yeah, I digress.
We're digressing.
But but you're right though. Like Killer Kelly should be in that title picture as well. I honestly think so too. But this is where you have the opportunity now. This is where you need to pull the trigger with Masha Slimovic. 100%.
Yeah, it says Scott D'Amore, they celebrated 4 years together at the end of December.
Well, good on them then.
Anyways, yeah. So I don't know.
I don't know. You're right though. It feels like a child not wanting to give up their toy.
Yeah, it was very Becky
Selfish.
Lynch. It was Charlotte Flair-ish. It was Becky Lynch-ish. And
it just came across like here's a guy who is like the longest reigning Impact champion, probably now in the talks of one of the greatest Impact champions of all time. And it's like, hey, I can't compete. You two fight it out for it, but I'm coming back for it.
Exactly. And you could have Mickie James come back for it, but like for right now, there's so many people who deserve recognition on that roster. No wonder women are leaving because you're not giving them a chance.
Yeah,
Taya Valkyrie was the AAA women's champion.
Rhea the Reina.
She's the MLW light heavyweight women's champion or featherweight champion.
Yeah.
She's the tag team champion in Impact because you don't want to put her in the goddamn singles division for some reason that I just don't get.
And she didn't even lose it. But,
freaking Jungle Juice.
Jungle Juice. Always comes back to Jungle Juice. So with that, we are going into that aforementioned Giselle Shaw versus Deonna Purrazzo match. Purrazzo's like on a class in her own.
This match surprised the crap out of me because Giselle was so good.
Yes.
And they worked so well together. They did better Zack Sabering than
Zack Sabre.
Than
Mike
the
Bailey
other
and Gresham.
watch. This was crazy. Did you see them like sliding into different holds?
Yes,
and just constantly
absolutely.
Going through it? And I was like, wait,
that
Giselle
reversal
could do this?
out of the Fujiwara armbar.
Yeah, I could not believe that Giselle was doing this stuff.
Yeah,
because the last match we watched with her wasn't very good.
That was a tag match, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Or no, it was on the pre-show. It was Giselle versus
pre-show.
Yeah.
Deonna was good in it, but Giselle wasn't very good. And then she was in the tag match before. But anyways, she was really good in this. And like I said, I'm not taking away from her as a wrestler. Yeah. I just think that she doesn't deserve to be in the title picture.
But it's now 1-1 between the two of them now because Giselle Shaw went over in the last match. But this told more the story of Jay Vidal and Savannah Evans getting with their shenanigans at ringside, and who returns? It's Tasha Steelz returns to Impact. So once again, replacing outgoing talent with somebody.
Yeah, and it's good for her to be back.
Yeah, because she did a couple dark and elevation matches, but never really. Was she part of Cargill's?
No, I don't think so.
No, right?
She was wasted. She was getting wasted. And she had a pretty good run in Impact prior.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And you have a feud right off the bat.
Yeah. You can have a tag match now, which can lead to a singles match eventually, and you can slowly build Tasha Steelz back up here.
And I think that's what they're gonna do to keep Deonna Purrazzo happy, because she's definitely not getting put in the title picture. It's
anytime soon.
They're gonna make her and Tasha win the tag team belts, I think.
Okay, so once that feud with Jungle Juice and Rosemary's done, that's it.
Yeah, and I do think they're gonna let Wild and what's her face hold on to the belts for a little.
Kylan King. Yeah, they'll hold on for a little bit, but
like I don't think Death Dolls are winning it again.
No, they're not. They're gonna lose. Mm-hmm. And after that we have probably one of my favorite matches of the show. It wasn't like a 5-star match, but it was PCO versus Kenny King.
Hey,
just to see PCO at 60 years old do what he does.
Than this. I did, but it was still a really good match. And I like my only note for this match was like, man, PCO's a legend. He can still friggin' go. And like he
does topes, somersaults. Like this,
he did a moonsault, or he did a somersault through the ropes onto the floor while no one was there. He just ran and jumped out. No one to break his fall, nothing. Like, what was that about?
Like, I don't know, but this guy...
Then he took 2 spots on the floor. He hit that gnarly bump off the side of the ring.
Yes.
That was crazy. This was such a fun match, but it was ruined that the fact that Eddie Edwards
came out. Where do you think this is going? Because I know they have a match at Multiverse, but it's a group match.
Is there anybody else from Honor No More that is no longer like there that PCO could team up with?
No, right now. So the match right now is it's Alex Coughlin, Sami Callihan. That's who it is. It's him, Fred Rosser, and PCO against Eddie Edwards, Joe Henry, JR Kratos, and Tom Lawler at Multiverse.
That's a pretty good match.
Yeah.
But PCO's a freaking... I love PCO. I don't think there's anyone in the world that you can tell me that you're a wrestling fan and you don't like PCO.
PCO. Just like, he's not like... He'll never be world champion. He'll never be... But he never fails to entertain. Like the Canadian Frankenstein.
He's one of the guys in the era of just before the Attitude Era that got screwed over by the Clique. He was undefeated.
Pierre-Carl
really
Ouellet
well
with the eye patch.
And then they put him into a feud with Bret Hart where he knew now it's all downhill because I can't keep winning. There's not going to let me beat Bret Hart.
No.
And then he just became
a jobber.
He got brushed aside.
Yeah.
And then they, I think they made him become with the Quebecers.
Yeah, I think
so. And then the French Canadians.
Yeah, I just remember him with the eye patch in WWE.
Yeah, and that's when he was like killing everybody.
Jean-Pierre Lafitte.
Yeah, he was the pirate.
Yeah.
And he was an absolute monster, and Vince McMahon loved him. And then Shawn Michaels and Triple H and those guys screwed him over.
Yeah, you're not getting over, and that's the end of that. But
you could see he has a lot of good stuff on podcasts. He's been around for a long time,
and he's been around for a long
a legendary tag team guy.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, fun match. PCO goes over, obviously, so
and had to, and it was a good ending.
Yeah, I like the way it ended.
Punched through the chair, that made him look badass.
That was pretty cool. Yeah. But next we got Trey Miguel versus the handpicked opponent by Santino Marella, Lince Dorado, for the X Division champ.
He's the featherweight champion in MLW.
Is he now? Okay.
Yeah, he's whatever their light heavyweight belt is.
Yeah. Former cruiserweight champion, I think, in WWE.
Was he the same character in WWE?
Lince Dorado, yeah.
No.
He was part of Lucha House Party with Kalisto and Grand Metalik.
He's pretty good.
Yeah.
I actually kind of like Miguel.
Yeah. I like the character that Miguel is portraying right now.
But he never wears anything green, so I don't get the green on the belt.
Yeah. I think it's a marijuana reference.
Maybe. But yeah, this match was good. It was
a fun it's what you expect from a light heavyweight championship match.
It was a little bit short, actually.
Yeah, it was only about 11-12 minutes.
But it feels like it's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, like because they moved so fast.
The pace is really quick.
Even though the Black Taurus match was shorter. Was it? No, that one was long. That one was shorter, but it felt longer.
Yeah.
Black Taurus.
Yeah,
where was this? Where is he on the show tonight, man?
I know, right?
Black Taurus. But yeah, I mean, this was a fun little match too. It was good. Like I had fun and I was entertained up until this point, and that's all I can really ask for in a wrestling pay-per-view.
Yeah. So even the matches, like this match was nothing special, but like the PCO match was nothing special, but like they were entertaining.
Yeah, I had fun with it.
I think the biggest issue they're having right now, and it's something that we felt the opposite of going into 2023, they're really struggling to tell stories. Like, really, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of going back to the TNA days where the stories are dog shit. They're just coming up with the most random things.
Some of them can be really good, but some of them are pretty bad. Yeah,
like I'm pretty sure it's the next match.
Yeah, which was Bullet Club and Ace Austin versus TMDK.
No, I thought it was Bully Ray was the next.
No. This was actually surprisingly good as well.
Well, this was a wicked match.
And like I said, Bullet Club of Ace Austin, basically AABC, they call themselves.
And I hate
Ace Austin.
No, I hate Bad Dude Tito.
But, but these two, they're becoming one. They are they're probably the hottest new tag, the hottest tag team in the last who knows how long. Like new, young, fresh guys. You know what I mean? And it's not like you put two single guys in here, you're a tag team. These are guys that were two singles guys, but decided let's make a run for it, and they put 100% into the tag team division. It's not like I eventually want to go a single route again.
They went over really big tag teams. That the New Japan run is crazy.
The fact that they beat the Motor City Machine Guns. The fact that they did as well as they did in the Super Junior Tag League.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. It's funny because Ace Austin was always like on the cusp of becoming really good.
Yeah.
But Chris Bay was always like looked at as a guy who had talent, but he never even was remotely thought of in a push. Like he was just an extra guy. And now because of this tag team, he's really like,
and they work so well together. They work so well.
They have a very similar skill set.
Yeah. So it works. Like, and they actually wrestle like a tag team as opposed to like.
If you're smart, you'll keep these guys together forever.
Yeah.
Whatever company they go to,
Keep them.
they're gonna go as a tag team, like how FTR would. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this was like, even though, like I said, it was like Bad Dude Tito, like you said, and Shane Haste. I know you're not the biggest TMDK fan. This was still a decent match.
No, it was pretty good. It was
Like
pretty good. I
it
mean,
was.
it was a little botchy at times.
Yeah.
But like I don't really have a complaint. Most of my
No.
complaints are gonna come soon.
It's the next match. A Bullet Club, obviously they retain, they go over. I knew they weren't. Clearly, we knew they weren't going to lose. But
TMDK was just here for the clout. They came to be on a pay-per-view, and Impact had them to floss off that they have New Japan deals.
Well, the reason being is because, well, I mean, they're both in that 4-way tag match at Multiverse. You have Austin and Bay versus Aussie Open, Fletcher and Davis against the Motor City Machine Guns and Bad Dude Tito and Shane Haste. 4-way match for the tag. That's going to be a good match. Exactly. Next, we have Bully Ray versus Tommy Dreamer for the first blood match, busted open match, whatever you want to call it.
So stupid.
I put Y.
I'm going to say one thing. Bully Ray is legitimately one of the best heels ever in wrestling. However, Tommy Dreamer can barely breathe long enough to wrestle for like 2 minutes. So most of this match was just him lying on the floor and Bully Ray waiting for something to happen.
One spot I've always loved is the cheese grater spot.
Yeah, the cheese grater spot.
I always loved the cheese grater spot.
The violent parts were entertaining, but there's long gaps in between. This match was far too long.
The ref was out for way too long.
The ref was out for like 6 minutes.
Yeah, he was out for way too long. Bully bled twice. But when the ref came to, he didn't even see Bully. Like, clearly it's all over his face, and the ref sees Tommy Dreamer bleeding.
He saw Tommy, he called the match. It's too late.
Yeah. But I don't this should have been, if this was on this card, this should have been earlier on the show, not the co-main event.
This should have been the pre-show.
Yeah.
The first match on the pre-show.
Instead of Edwards and
then you could have just had Edwards as the next match on the pre-show.
And move the women's match to the main card.
The first match on the card.
Or the second. Yeah. I mean, I didn't enjoy this. Then there was like the whole cluster in the middle.
I mean, Scott
Uemura came out at least. We got Uemura.
Yeah, finally. Which I like. That means clearly there's going to be a push for him.
Maybe a Uemura Bully Ray feud.
Well, I'll take it.
And Bully Ray will definitely put him over.
We saw Jaron McCarty get put through a table. Which, like, everyone knew that was not a spot. Shoot. That was not a shoot. That whole thing was planned. You were needing it if you thought that was a shoot, like at the beginning.
Like Bully Ray's yelling, "Let him go! Let him in! Let him in!"
Scott D'Amore did a Canadian Destroyer, and it was freaking awesome.
But the fact that, like you said, when the locker rooms were clearing out, you had Gresham and Bailey together helping out Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah, so I think there's going to build. So I think they're planning on building some kind of faction. I think that's what's happening there.
Okay.
So it'll be like those guys, Uemura and like Tommy Dreamer will be the leader. Because Bully Ray's like, they need to get rid of Bully Ray. That's this whole new storyline that's happening, is they need to get him out of this company. And I think he's going to at least get one more person on his team. So I feel like that might work. But listen, as much as I love this and I had fun with the Scott D'Amore thing, I do think he's starting to book like Vince McMahon. Because he's making himself so much a part of it all the time now. It's a little bit weird.
Yeah. But I mean, he had to come out and do it because Windsor's his hometown.
Yeah, which is fine.
But I think now with Santino in the mix, I think the booking may change a little bit. Hopefully.
I mean, they just got to do a better job trying to tell any kind of story.
Yeah.
Because even when they put on really good matches in Impact, the in-ring storytelling is like non-existent usually in their matches.
Like the Joe Henry match.
Yeah.
But I digress. So with that out of the way, we go into our main event of the night. we have Time Machine, Kushida, Alex Shelley, and Chris Sabin against Rich Swann, Frankie Kazarian, and instead of Josh Alexander, because he is hurt, they play Steve Macklin in the match, which makes no sense to me.
Which is a terrible decision, because he sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, why is this the main event? Even if it had Josh Alexander,
well, if it had Josh, it should have been the main event, of course.
No, it shouldn't. There's no belt on the line. It's a trios match. What the fuck? The tag team match at least had belts on the line. You could have made that the main event.
That's true.
Why was Tommy Dreamer and Bubba Ray the co-main event? That should not have been the main event. No, not at all. It's just like, to me, this is a weird card. You had all your title matches, and then you had 2 no title matches to end the night.
I mean, if anything, I think because Time Machine were on the card, that's the main event. If not, I would have put the Ace. But no, because then you had TMDK. TMDK doesn't deserve to.
I get it. You were making good points, but
yeah.
As much as I want to say that from the Time Splitters or
Time Machine. I know it's late, guys.
From the Time Machine aspect, they were really good throughout.
They work so well, not just as a tag, but they work so well as a trio because Alex Shelley has history with Chris Sabin as the Motor City Machine Guns. But then again, he also has history. They've won New Japan Junior Tag belts.
They were for a long time
as the Time Splitters.
And this is a team that we talked about this, that I wanted to make a comeback.
Mm-hmm.
Time Splitters. But they did really well in this match. The other team kind of didn't do much, but here's my issue, okay? And
it was a lot of Rich Swann. Rich Swann was in this he carried this match for his team.
This could offend you, but I think this match was so absolutely ridiculously long.
Yeah.
I almost fell asleep like 3 times.
It was way too long. Absolutely.
It was just repetitive. I'm like, why is this going still? How long was it? Like 33 minutes?
22. It felt like 30. Yeah.
It felt like forever.
Yeah.
The first 5 minutes, I was so into it. And then I was like,
now it's the same thing. Okay, now they're doing this to Rich Swann. Okay, now they're doing this to Kazarian. The only time I perked up a little bit was when they finally had Kushida and Macklin face off.
Yeah. But that was early on.
But they did it a little bit again later in the match. They did it
again later, yes.
Because Kushida actually pins Macklin.
Which, if Kushida does not win this title,
I'm done.
Like I said, I'm legitimately done. Like, you cannot have freaking Burt Macklin FBI as your goddamn title holder. Are you serious? Like, this is how bad you want to keep Deonna in this company?
From SNL there.
What are we talking about?
What's his name? McDonald there. Burt. What's his name? Burt. Not Burt. He does Burt something. Not Burt Reynolds.
He does Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, but he does a different Burt too. Maybe it was from a movie he did it.
Burt Reynolds. Hey, yeah, it's me, Burt Reynolds. Why do you have that big hat on? It's an oversized hat. It's funny.
Got it at the oversized hat store.
It's funny. Okay, but like,
yeah,
what
Kushida needs to go over.
Is like for real though? Like for real though, and it's like, if Burt Macklin wins, we know for a fact this is all just to keep Perezo in Impact.
Yeah, absolutely. And I said that on the last show too. But I mean, it was at least Kushida got the pin here. That gives me hope that they're not afraid to pin Macklin. But I'm afraid that Kushida got the win here, that he may lose.
Macklin, it should be a jobber.
He was a jobber in the WWE.
He still should be a jobber.
I remember when he was he had a group in the WWE with was it Wesley Blake and I forgot the other guy, Gunner or whatever. But that's the thing. They were called the Forgotten Sons. And every time they would come to the ring, the crowd would just chant, "We forgot you."
Exactly, because they did. Because you're freaking Burt Macklin, FBI.
Burt Macklin. But yeah, like I hope that they continue this trend and Kushida pins, because if he doesn't, that's backwards booking again to me.
Yeah, this has to be foreshadowing. Like, I can't even imagine that match. Am I gonna have to watch 20 minutes of Kushida just trying to sell for this turd?
As long as he gets the win, that's the important thing, I think.
Like, this is, I almost made a bad comparison, but this is like having Matt Menard suddenly be in the world title picture.
Matt Menard.
Like,
Angelo Parker.
Yeah, Angelo Parker versus John Moxley for the title. Like, what?
When did this happen?
Who?
Yeah, no, it's very true. It's like he came out of nowhere, Macklin, and like he was like a nobody in WWE. And I get it, they're trying to push him to keep Deanna happy, but then again, you have Gresham, who's way more talented than Macklin, married to Jordan Grace, and you're not making either of them happy right now.
And he was one of the better Ring of Honor champions of all time.
Yeah, he held that belt during the pandemic. He was the best, like probably the best pandemic champion out there.
And he did. I mean, Drew McIntyre was pretty good, but
he also defended it in like England and Australia and like.
And he went on a run, like a Chris Jericho level run, where he was fighting every week for the title on Dynamite or Rampage, and
because Ring of Honor didn't have a show at the time. Yeah,
and I think he deserves more. But this feud is not like. Except for the awkward storytelling of it, it's great. Let him fight Mike Bailey over and over. I'm fine with it. I just think you screwed up the story.
Yeah, it needs to tell a better story.
You screwed it up by making him seem like he's not the heel anymore. And then you made them come out together and made it even worse.
Yeah. It's like the Joe Henry thing, right?
I don't even want to talk about him. Stop talking about him.
No more Joe Henry. Okay.
He's better than Burt Macklin, FBI.
Anybody's better than Burt Macklin.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. He's maybe on the same level as Jungle Juice.
Jungle Juice is still above Moose as well.
Okay, yes. Okay.
Right. Moose is down low.
Yeah, but okay, with that out of the way, main event over. This was definitely better than the last show, though.
It was. Okay, entertainment. It's hard to score this because entertainment-wise, it was good. It was a little bit long, and none of the matches were like blow me out of the water, except the Deanna Prazo match was pretty good. But it was still a good pay-per-view.
Yeah. It was entertaining.
It wasn't like the greatest. What would you score it?
I gave it a 7 on the even.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's exactly what the number I had in my
7
head.
Even. It was middle of the road. It was like
I think it's definitely watchable.
Yeah, like I mean, I wasn't upset with it. No, I had fun with it, and that's really all you can.
And it's one of the bigger crowds they've pulled in a while.
It was the first time back in Canada since pre-pandemic too.
I mean, I'm pretty sure they sell out every pay-per-view because they don't have that big of a crowd come out because it's small venues. But this felt like a slightly bigger venue. Like this, there was a lot of seats.
Yeah.
Yeah, and good for them.
Good for them. Like, it's good to have more wrestling and more competition out there. It makes other companies strive to do better, and that's all we ask for. Just more wrestling, more factions, more belts.
More factions, more belts. Listen, New Japan is coming through on all of those levels so hard right now. They're like, you want more belts? You want more factions?
The KOPW now has a belt.
I think there's something to having a company be all separated into groups, because you can still have individual rivalries, but you also have the added value of group rivalries.
Yeah. It's like, say, for example, take a WWE, for example, you have the Bloodline, but then you have, say, do like a French-Canadian connection with Sami Zayn and and Owens and, I don't know, somebody else who's French-Canadian or...
what was that guy's name? That was part of the... was LA Knight. Wasn't he supposed to be a pretend French-Canadian that was part of the models? Wasn't he like Maxime Moulette or something like that?
Max Dupree.
Max Dupree, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, do like, and have like different factions and like
that. But that's the thing. WWE is set up in a way where the one faction they have can dominate everything because everyone else is either a tag team with a girl, or just a solo wrestler.
Yeah. Right? They're kind of trying to do that with Imperium now, and they have Drew and Sheamus and
which is done now.
Yeah.
Apparently they're also going to remove Pete Dunne out of the group. They gave him his name back, right? And now
I think they want to push him.
They want to give him a solo push where he's not part of a group.
Watch him come out and win the IC belt from.
Oh, I'll be so upset, Lady Legs. I don't want that.
Lady Legs. He's a good wrestler though.
Yeah, but I just don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't.
And they had a fantastic match for the UK Championship.
He was. I saw a few of his matches actually from NXT UK, and he was really good.
Yeah.
However, Ridge the Fridge is not good.
No, they don't need to push him anymore.
He's probably getting cut.
Yeah, he'll probably after Mania. He'll probably.
The Imperium guys suck too.
Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni.
They're just there.
Ribisi there.
Giovanni Ribisi. It's Boiler Room too.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely watchable. If you have some time to kill and you want to watch some fun wrestling, definitely go and watch this event. That's our thought on it. 7. We both gave it a 7, so we're both happy with that score.
Oh, and we both have now scored NWA. Enough said, and I will not be reviewing it.
Okay, I see you put it in there.
I did.
I gave it a 6 too, and I see you gave it a 6.
Yeah, that was a generous 6.
Yeah.
Because the couple of good matches that they had were good.
Yeah.
The rest of the event was
absolutely
dog poo.
Yeah. Which is sad. Really, I thought NWA would do a little bit better. Yeah. So with that out of the way, join us again next week. Next week we are going hardcore. Next week is Mania week. We have Multiverse United on Thursday night to watch. We have ROH Super Card of Honor on Friday night. We have NXT Stand and Deliver on Saturday afternoon. We have WrestleMania Night 1 on Saturday night. We have WrestleMania Night 2 on Sunday. And then that next Friday on the 8th of April, we have Sakura Genesis.
And we forced Putty to watch all of them.
Yes, we are forcing Putty to watch all of them.
And it's actually going to happen.
Yes, it will.
And Mania, you know what? Caps might watch Mania.
Yeah, well, if he can join us at the late night reviews, maybe.
We might do the reviews in the afternoon now.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But yeah, other than that, join us for all those reviews in the next coming weeks. Like I said, this year we're going hard with the wrestling reviews. You guys like them, so we'll keep putting them out there for you. So with that out of the way, make sure you check out Campo. Like I said, all his stuff will be in the link in the description down below. And with that out of the way, goodbye and good night. We'll see you all next time.